morning. My name is Thomas Korkmas, Korkmas. I'm the president of TFIRE, which is Texans for Immigration Reduction and Enforcement, an organization that was started by a gentleman named J.C. Hernandez and other legal immigrants who came here from Mexico and started the organization in 1997. Our members are statewide. Many of them are people who immigrated to the United States the proper way. And they went through all of the things which are required of anyone to legally come to the United States. This message is to all politicians, including our Attorney General and our Governor. I want to make this very clear who is partly responsible for this. The cheap labor lobby in this state is responsible for this. They started it. They invited people to come in here by hiring them illegally. And you can always tell when someone is about to lie to you, or perhaps there are a few people who are simply unknowledgeable. But our immigration laws are not broken. They are ignored and they are not enforced. And this started with the advent of NAFTA, because there was an Immigration Reform Control Act of 1986, and about the same time NAFTA was being worked on. NAFTA calls for the free flow of goods and services. We all know what goods are. Services relate to what people do. So we know who the source of this is. We also know that NAFTA also provided that eventually Canada, the United States, and Mexico were to be one. Remember the North American Union that got squashed when it started a few years ago? Well, this is an extension of what was started then. Now, the cheap labor lobby contributes a lot of money to Texas politicians, both Republican and Democrat. Anyone who doesn't believe that, all I have to do is invite you to go to the Texas Ethics Commission website, and you will find out who gives money to whom. People who utilize workers in restaurants and workers in the construction business are very prominent in the giving to Texas politicians. Why is this so important to them? For every position that they fill with someone who is willing to work for $5 less per hour than they could hire an American citizen to do that job, they save $10,000 per year. So if you're hiring 1,000 people, I'll leave it to you to do the math. So what we have is a state, and we have business and industry that profits from this. Unfortunately, the cost of that illegal labor is transferred over to all of us, because we are expected to pay for their families' education. We're expected to pay for basic services for health and education. Each child, an ELL or ESL child, costs approximately $9,600 for HISD. This gives you an idea of what this surge that's coming across the border is going to cost our school districts. So we have an invasion, and it has to be stopped. About 20 years ago, when Bill Clinton was in office, there was an issue over in what had been Yugoslavia, and it was called at that time ethnic cleansing. What is going on right now in this country could be called ethnic replacement. Because what is happening right now is that we are seeing the eradication of our Constitution and its rule of law. We're seeing the elimination of our borders, our language, and our culture. And anyone who does not think that a culture that embraces lawlessness will not become our dominant culture within a few years, I hate to tell you, you're wrong. It will be, because it already has. Otherwise, we would not have thousands of businesses willing to hire illegal aliens to work for them and paying them cash under the table. in summation, we know who you are. We know how much you're paid. We know who the politicians are that you pay. Politicians, Governor Perry, Attorney General Abbott, we know who gives money to you. It's time to step up and do the right thing. We like you. You're better than what we see out there on the other side of some issues. But the reality of it is we expect you to perform. If you don't perform, what are we to do? Tell me, what are we to do? Time is up. The time for stalling is over. Get off your dead end, get down to the border, and make something happen.